Yeah, just give me all of the respect. I use your reverence as a reward. They know that I got the power and they looking at me like the source. Take my throne, boy, stop that. I'm on my hill, can't top that. You take this L, yeah, rock that. You know, I never needed a cosign. Yeah, I'm gon' shine. I rock independent. Representing like I work for the Senate. You double LC, you ain't got no business coming against me. These haters, they acting so friendly. I stay attentive and I'm
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. What it do? Knicks Universe, stand up. KOD Nation, stand up. And all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew. It is a fine Wednesday, March 1st. Happy 1st of the month. It's your guy Hector, and I'm chilling with the one and only Philly Bob Thornton, a.k.a. Fabulous Phil, a.k.a. Philly Eilish, a.k.a. Hold Your Beer, get your coffee, and smack someone in the face. Phil, good morning.
What up? What up? What up? How's it going, brother? Feeling good.
Chilling.
Feeling good. You know, I typically you say grab your coffee, and I grabbed my coffee. I woke up this morning, realized that I was out of coffee, so grab my agua and hope that I can make it through today's episode. But it is March 1st, and it is. He's not here right now, so we'll have to wait to hold the singing. But it's my brother. It's my big brother's birthday.
Happy birthday, Jigga Man Porter. If you guys can, put some love in the chat. Let Jigga Man know happy birthday. Let's do a roll call real quick. I got my guy Jarvis LaFleur is in the building. Jarvis, what it do? Blood of the Panthers in the building, the top moderator of all the top moderators in the building. Of course, Jigga Man, there he is. Happy birthday. Eric Wallace is in the building. EY, what it do? My guy Bonesy Bones is in the building. Salute, 3 capital S's to my guys. And if you guys can, as you guys come in, hit the like for the boys. Appreciate all the new subscribers to the new channel. The Knicks Morning Brew, we are at 162 subs within a span of a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. It feels good. But if you guys can, if you're watching this video, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. It helps us out with the algorithm, with the YouTube, so it pushes us out there. Phil, before we bring our guests up, right, to have this conversation when it comes to the Knicks, any fine words for these people?
Yeah, you know, it's a good time to be a Knicks fan. You know, I know that if you go back to the beginning of our season and the beginning of this show, we talked about how we didn't want to like over believe, but that we had faith that this team could do something with the changes in the roster that we made. But even with our expectations, our New York Knicks have exceeded those expectations exponentially. And so I think it's something that, whether you think that this is the right moves or not, it's still something worth celebrating. It's worth enjoying the fact that this is the best team that we have had since I first fell in love with the Knicks and watched the 90s.
Yep, 100%. You always know. You can never not see a Phil getting frozen by the internet. You know, that's something that always happens.
You know, this is what ticks me off. So, because I was sick of that, I went out and I bought this little thing right here.
Some of you got
to extend my service. And right before the episode, I checked and it said perfect signal. And so I was ready to say
Shout out to
that I'm
Nice.
excited that like that I was excited that I will not like fall off an episode for the first time. And then what happens? I fall off the episode within
Not
like
even
8
not
minutes
even
of the start.
5 minutes. No, not even eight. Not even 5 minutes into the conversation. I want to give a quick shout out real quick. I see my guy Nice is in the building. Nice de lo mío que lo que. I see Pamela Williams is in the building. Pamela Williams, good morning. Hope all is well.
What up,
Queen, hope you're
Pamela?
doing good. My guy TC Stills is in the building. Is in the building. TC, what it do? Blah, 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 blah. But guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. We got a dope guest backstage, Dylan Becker. Without further ado, I'm gonna bring in my guy Dylan. Everybody show your love to Dylan. Dylan, good morning, gorgeous.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for having me come on.
Of
For sure,
course.
bro. How's your morning going so far?
It's going good, man. Going good. Just got up and got my water, and I'm ready to talk about the Knicks. So,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, always gotta have that good high quality H2O, as you know they say in the movie Waterboy. But before we jump into it, Dylan, my man, let the people know where they can find you on social media. If you're doing anything, whether it's a YouTube content creator, however, let the people know if you have any projects upcoming, where they can follow you, how they can follow you as well. Right before we get into the convo, if you can.
Right. Right. So you guys can follow me on Twitter. It's just my name. So you can search my name. It's more specifically Dylan Becker _, but you should be able to find it just searching my name. You can also find me doing podcasting for Fireside Knicks. I do that as well. You can also find me writing some articles for Empire Sports Media. I write about the Knicks, the Yankees, and the Giants. And also, I used to write for the Strickland. I haven't wrote for them in quite a while, but I used to. So, if you do a search of my name with the Strickland on Google, you could probably find some of my pieces there. And yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Hold on. Do you do work with Fireside Yankees?
Not yet, but I do plan on doing it in the
Okay.
future.
Copy. Because I was about
Right
to
now,
say,
though,
if you work for Five,
right now,
no, I was
I
gonna
just
say,
started doing the Five Knicks. Like literally, like we actually started doing that with me involved in
fire.
it. So we're gonna get a lot more
Dope.
podcasts out. We're actually gonna record one later today as well. So be on the lookout for that.
No, definitely. Just so you guys know I host the Yankees Morning Brew. I got excited because I like the guys over there at Fireside Yankees. My guy Ryan, they do good work over there. Dylan, I just found out backstage earlier that he's a Yankee fan. So watch out. I'm gonna have Dylan on the Yankees Morning Brew. Yeah, we're gonna link up to talk Yankees. But let's talk about this weekend. The Boston Celtics versus the New York Knicks. And boys, was this a statement game? I said weekend. This past Monday, was this a statement game? Phil, I start with you and throw it over to Dylan to get your take on this big win against the Celtics. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, so for me, this was a huge win. Probably one of the best of the season. And the reason being is that, like, when you talk to a lot of content creators, and even when you look at like the main sports announcers, you listen to the JJ Reddicks and the ESPNs and all these Bleacher Reports, they all talk about how the two teams that are the biggest threats that the Knicks cannot handle, and if they face in the playoffs, they'll see an early exit, are the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. And we've talked, and I've been like, no, Boston doesn't scare me. Milwaukee scares me. And then I think it was you, Heck, that it was the other way around. Boston didn't. Boston scared you, but Milwaukee didn't. And so I feel like this was a statement game, even for us on the show, to be able to be like, holy crap, like this is what our New York Knicks were able to do with the Boston Celtics. Like they were not in like contention from the start. Like I think maybe they had a lead early in the game, and that was the only time that they ever had a lead. So I'm not worried, like I was excited after watching that game and seeing that we played 4 quarters of basketball well. Like every single quarter was played well. The defense was incredible. The fact that we, were so frustrated weeks ago when we played the 76ers and Niang pretty much torched us, in his post-game interview about our perimeter defense. And that's been my ugly for like 3 months is our perimeter defense. And yet Malcolm Brogdon is in a post-game interview talking about how great our perimeter defense was and how great we were able to lock down the paint. Like that is progression. So I got to tip my hat to the team. maybe even tip my hat to the coaching staff. Blasphemy, I know, but like whatever, we're seeing something incredible. Like we saw something great in that game. So for me, that was probably my favorite victory of the season.
Dylan, let me get your take on this last game against the Celtics before I go. Go ahead, brother. Ooh. Dylan, you still there?
In the Matrix.
Dylan's in the Matrix. So I there he is. Dylan, give your take on this game against the Celtics before I go, brother. Go ahead.
All right, so yeah, what you guys said, this is definitely a statement win. It was a huge win. We've already won a lot of games lately, but this one felt the most significant because, it was against the Celtics. They were number 1 in the East. We just knocked them down to 2 after, defeating them. And, also what Philly was saying, this kind of is like, we are really capable of beating teams like this, and me personally, I think this gives a good sign, of who we can actually handle in the playoffs, because we can. I like our chances like against Philly and Cleveland and stuff. I was a little floaty about Boston, but we've beaten Boston twice now. So see what we can really do against teams like that is an encouraging sign for sure. I definitely was encouraged, Randall and Quickly. I was really encouraged by what Quickly was doing. It was, phenomenal the other night. So I was encouraged by that. I think, he boosted his 6-man case, really. I think Malcolm Brogdon probably has the best chance to win that. I think it's his award to lose, but Quickly is definitely in the running now for 6-man of the year, which, is huge because one of our biggest problems all year was depth, right? And then we acquired Josh Hart, and now we're back to being a deep team and a good team. And I think now people are starting to realize, like, this team's not no joke. This team's not just getting hot. No, this team might actually be something come playoff time because now we've jumped to the 5th seed and, we've been handling the tough opponents. We have several wins against teams that are in the playoffs or close to the playoffs this year. And this, I think, was just one of them. And I think this was the one that, like, people realized, like, okay, this team might be onto something. This team might not just be, getting lucky and winning a couple games.
Yeah, bro. When it comes down to this Celtics versus Knicks game that just passed, it's not a stretch to say that this is probably the best win the entire season that we had so far when it comes to the team. When you look at the stats, RJ Barrett only, 10 points. He hit some big shots when we needed him to hit some big shots, but only just 10 points or so. Julius Randle wasn't a great, this was more of an overall team game, everyone on the team, but Emmanuel Quickly, I know the rumors around trade deadline was that the New York Knicks, they were listening to trade talks, when it came to Emmanuel Quickly. I just want to say, front office, you're so happy that you didn't trade Emmanuel Quickly because how Emmanuel Quickly has changed from when we drafted him till now. There may be a conversation towards the end of the season, or not even towards the end of the season. Right now, if the playoffs would start right now, there'll be a conversation to start Emmanuel Quickly over RJ Barrett. Like there's no hesitations with that, right? If you had to look at it, who would you rather start, RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickly? You could really say Emmanuel Quickly. You can have an argument for Emmanuel Quickly. On top of that, when it comes down to our defense, our team defense, we held the Celtics to like 15 points in the first quarter, right? From the beginning of the game, defense. You could tell that's what Tom Thibodeau preached to them. That is what the game plan was for this team, was defense. You got to take a defensive first approach. The offense comes second. That first quarter, it was like what? It was like 12. The Knicks had like 17 or 18 to the Celtics 12 or something like that. It was a very low scoring first quarter, 4 minutes into the game, right? So you could tell defense was the number one thing that they was pushing out there. The intensity, Mitchell Robinson, since Mitchell Robinson has come back from his injury, you can say he's kind of playing better than he was before his injury. Every game that he has come back, I think it's 3 games or something like that he has come back from his injury, double-doubles in each game. 10 plus points, 10 plus rebounds in each game, at least 2 blocks in each game. So Mitchell Robinson has stepped it up tremendously. Josh Hart, the way that Josh Hart plays with this team on the bench, the team chemistry is ridiculous. The New York Knicks, we are top 3 when it comes to defense in the league. We are top 3, we're top 4 when it comes to turning the ball over, right? So the fact that we aren't turning the ball over, which drastically hurt us last year and even hurt us in the season when we were the 4th seed in the East, we were still turning the ball over. This year, not turning the ball over, being in the top 4 of teams that do not turn the ball over, to me is one of the best takes when you look at the stats from the season so far, right? Julius Randle has been playing tremendously, right? Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson together, Batman and Robin, Batman and Batman, Batman and Superman, however you want to say it. The pairing of those two, like they said, like when we get to Kendrick Perkins and everybody else, but that goes to show you that you don't need the quote unquote superstar to be effective in this league. As long as you have good coaching, as long as you have good culture, and yes, I said good coaching. Sorry, Phil, because Tom Thibodeau has been he's changed. He has shown in 2023 that he has adapted to this style or this age's coaching, right? He has adapted to the players that he has on his roster. He's not that hard ass that he was at the beginning of the season, because it's literally been this season that Tom Thibodeau has been able to adjust. It's been this season. Once he switched our rotation to a 9-man rotation when we was 10-13, the Knicks, we have the 5th best record in the NBA since that point. This is another win that we hold the team to under 110 points scoring. The Celtics, they only scored 94 points. We are 26-1 when we hold opponents to under 110 points. Defense, defense, defense. Blood of the Panther, don't hurt me, bro. He said I can't do it. Heck, not into the playoffs. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm in it right now. I'm in a fit. I'm in emotion because I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, right? You know, I remember a couple of weeks ago, Phil, we was joking about it, but I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. The New York Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Call me crazy all you want, but like I said, I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. But Phil, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm definitely not with you when it comes to giving, like the full on salute to the, coaching staff. I'm not there yet. Um, but I will say that I am excited to see what happens in the playoffs, because for me, what I really think of the coaching staff is going to come down to what I see in the playoffs. Like, if we crumble in the playoffs because of lack of changes that need to be made, like if we find out that if we find out that the 9-man rotation is not going to work in the playoffs because of exhaustion and we stick with it, then there is no coach winning me over. I will say that I saw him laughing in a photo last night or the night before for the Kicks and Cocktails event, and I was floored. I took a screenshot of it because I've never seen that man smile that way before. So even Thibodeau is happy now with what he's seeing from our Knicks, which is crazy. And so I agree with you. Big Money Mitch came in and was such an impact player off the bat. Like, our biggest thing where we were talking about Mitch coming back was, is it going to take him time to get his feet back under him and actually like get back into a groove that Big Money Mitch can be effective? And will he fall in line with what we've seen? And he did. Like, that block against Tatum was a poster.
Mm-hmm. And I was just about to bring that up when you bring up the block against Jason Tatum. Dylan, I'm gonna throw it to you. Talking about the defensive scheme or the defensive mindset they had against Jason Tatum, locking Jason Tatum up. What was your thoughts watching that as a fan and as somebody who loves NBA just in general? What was your take watching how the team played defense against Jason Tatum?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
Right.
Dylan.
So really the defense they had against Tatum. Jaylen Brown out, the plan was certainly going to be to stop Jason Tatum. And I thought they did a great job. They weren't letting him get the ball, set him off ball screens. I noticed it a handful of times, and they were switching on it really well. They weren't letting them get into the paint. Josh Hart guarded him really well down the stretch, I thought too. And what Phil said, Mitchell Robinson's block, that kind of was like, really good block. I thought that was like, okay, we're in Tatum's head now. And then we got Tatum ejected toward the end of the game. So, I definitely think like our scheme in him or for him was like perfect. I thought, they held him down completely. They didn't let him get red hot at all. He only had like 14 points. He shot like 6 of 18 or something like that. He had a horrible shooting night. He's been struggling really since the break ended, but this was like, a big like, I like the game plan big time. I thought they did a great job on him. And I'm very encouraged to see if this means they could do the same thing against like other teams' star players, like if they can do the same thing against like James Harden or Donovan Mitchell or guys like that we might see in the playoffs. that was an encouraging sign for me.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. As we are here right now, we got 20 people in the building right now. If you guys can, hit that like button for the boys. And also, if you guys can, if you're watching over on the Knights of Dejan channel, I just put the link to our new channel in the chat right now. Subscribe to the new channel, The Morning Brew Sports. That's where we will be housing all of our content going forward, just so nobody can miss us out if they're trying to find us. As well, we got some people in the building. My man, Mikey Mazza in the 4 Train Express. Salute to my guy doing a lot of good Yankee content right before the season start. And of course, Ron and John from Still Nick Fans. Make sure you go support those brothers and everything they doing over there. Shout out to Jose also, who works backstage producing it and everything, because we always got to show the producers love nowadays in the content creating game. Shout out to my man Jonathan in the building. Jonathan, salute 3 capital S's. I see my man E. Gibson is in the building. E. Gibson, what it do, my guy? Chris Joseph is in the building. Hope all is well, Chris Joseph. But yeah, Phil, when it comes to the way that the Knicks preparation, it goes a long way, right? The way that the Knicks prepared when it comes to their game plan against Jason Tatum, you saw that from the beginning to the end. It frustrated Jason Tatum so much he got technical fouls and was tossed out of the game, right? So that's how badly it affected Jason Tatum. You got to be able to make these guys that you're guarding uncomfortable. If you allow them to get comfortable, they just going to get the best out of you, right? So they had Jason Tatum uncomfortable from the beginning of the game until that point that he was kicked out. He was uncomfortable. He wasn't able to find his rhythm, and that's how we should approach the rest of the season, right? I know the next game that we have is against Brooklyn. Then we got Miami. Then we see the Boston Celtics again coming up against Brooklyn. This is an opportunity for us just to, I understand bragging rights for the city, right? But we got to keep this momentum going. We're fifth in the East right now. We just uploaded. We just piggybacked and jumped over the Brooklyn Nets. So we just got to keep this momentum going. Phil, what's your takes on the Jason Tatum defense before we continue, brother?
Yeah, man. What's crazy is that is that if we continue to play that kind of defense for the rest of the season, I don't know many teams that can beat us. I really don't, because when you look at the players that are in these teams that are ahead of us, Jason Tatum is one of those players that you give credit for the fact that he is able to figure things out and morph his game in the middle of his game to be able to still be effective and still score. I haven't seen many games this season where Jason Tatum has actually been locked down to where he couldn't figure out at least a way to make his team get over that hump. And we did that. We were able to take one of the best stars in the league and say, hey, you're having a record-breaking season, and we are going to completely control you for 4 quarters of basketball. It was insane to see that. And so everybody, and that was the key factor, is that everybody's defense was spectacular in that game. Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickly, even RJ was having a rough night offensively, but was still contributing on the defensive end. Julius Randle was playing both sides of the basketball. That is what we need. We need this. You had Mitchell Robinson being Mitch, but when he was out, it wasn't like there was a massive fall off when Hart came in. Hart came in with that same kind of determination and effort, and we continue to just shut them down. So I think if we continue with that, I don't know many teams that are going to be able to beat us. Milwaukee is one of those teams that Giannis is going to steamroll through anybody and everybody. But if we can contain Middleton and we can contain Drew Holiday the same way that we contained Jason Tatum, then it's all of us offensively versus one guy in Giannis, and so that's huge for us. I really was excited to see that. I'm really excited to see that after that game and that performance, every single person, even those that have doubted us on national television, have had to say, okay, this team is worth looking at. They're different. They are different now. And besides the Bucks, we have the longest win streak right now of games over a certain amount of time. So that's incredible. That's incredible. I'm really excited for the rest of the season.
And you guys know one of the things that they say, the way that you build a championship, the way that you win in the playoffs, in the postseason, is with defense. And our team plays better overall as a unit when we lock in defensively, when we're not getting blown out in that third quarter. In the beginning of the season, before we got Josh Hart, the question about the New York Knicks was, can the New York Knicks learn how to close out games? Can the New York Knicks do the little things that they have to do in the third and fourth quarter to secure a victory? Once we got Josh Hart, it seems like it was overnight that question was answered, that automatically every player picked that up from Josh Hart. When you look at what Josh Hart does, he is there for every tip. He is there for every crucial rebound. He is there to be a pesky defender on the opposing side of things. One thing I like about Josh Hart, and as a guard, he's known for his rebounding. But the one thing that I like when it comes to his rebounding, he's not trying to take the rebound from his teammate, right? How many times have you seen either Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson, or Julius Randle and RJ Barrett go for the same rebound and it becomes a turnover and the other team gets it? It's happened to us so many times early on in the season. One thing about Josh Hart, he doesn't make that mistake, right? If he sees his teammate has it, he actually helps his teammates out and boxes people out, right? So it's the little things that don't show up in the box score that Josh Hart does that makes Josh Hart what he is. Like, if Tom Thibodeau, and I'm gonna show my nerdness right here, right? Because I'm a big time Power Ranger fan, right? So if you guys remember the Putty Patrol, right, from Rita Repulsa, right? They used to have this guy named Finster. They used to make all the putties for Rita. If Tom Thibodeau went to Finster and told him, make me a basketball player with X, Y, and a third, with 1, 2, and 3, he would make Josh Hart. Josh Hart is the type of player that Tom Thibodeau wants. And that hopefully you guys laugh at my analogy that I just made, but Josh Hart is the perfect Tom Thibodeau player. And it just shows from the little bit that we've seen from Josh Hart in these 6 games that he's been there. 6-0, you can't go against it. But Phil, I know one thing you've been going about. You've been going hard on Twitter when it comes to Kendrick Perkins, right? And everybody, if you guys can, let's try to throw Kendrick Perkins some love, because he's been one of the only guys, if not the only guy, a part of the mainstream outlets, right? A part of the ESPN, a part of the global conglomerates of sports reporters that has been on our side from the beginning of the season till now. So I'm going to just play a little video that we put up from Kendrick Perkins, and I'll throw it over to Phil right after to get his take. So enjoy. Here it is.
Okay. And I'm talking about the Knicks. I'm glad I've been rocking with them since they got Jalen Brunson at the beginning of the season, when everybody was crying and whining about not getting Donovan Mitchell. You doing all that whining, what the babies go do? They got on the Celtics' ass like a fresh set of diapers tonight. And I keep telling y'all, you don't need superstars in order to have culture and create winning ways. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle is enough. Tom Thibodeau, I'm proud of you, okay? I'm proud of you. You finally adjusted your coaching style in 2023 on the offensive end, right? Letting those guys play freely, man. Letting them rock out. Josh Hart, great addition. Hey, listen, I'm not picking the Knicks to win the East. I'm not saying that. But I will say this, I wouldn't be surprised if they upset one of those top dogs from making it to the finals. And I'm talking about Philly, Milwaukee, and the Celtics. I'm telling you, man, listen, the Knicks got culture, they got foundation, and they got guys who some dogs. I'm talking about some real pit bulls. Carry on.
I didn't realize he left that last part in there. Big perk. Jigga Man, good morning. Happy birthday, baby.
Appreciate you guys. Dylan, my guy, what's good, man?
I think it's Delano's
Matrix.
Yeah, he's in the. I think it's Delano Still's birthday as well.
No, it's his son's birthday. DSJ's son. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to baby DSJ. Happy birthday, DSJ. Happy birthday, baby DSJ as well.
Appreciate the birthday wishes, guys. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys. Everybody was hitting me up. I was in my work meeting while I was still paying attention to the show. I got a lot accomplished, let me tell you. But I came at the right time because KP is on that Knicks train like the rest of the world right now. The good thing is Kendrick Perkins was on that ish before, right? So he's able to sit there and be like, I've been on that moment since the Jalen section, right? Mm-hmm. But guys, have you seen Twitter? Have you seen Instagram? Have you seen all these other networks? I mean, you're talking content creators left and right from all these other fan bases, and everybody's on that choo-choo. They on that Knicks train, bro. Everybody. and I love to see it. We've been preaching this for a while, but thanks, Jarvis. Appreciate you. Salute. But man, I'm excited. Not just because we're winning, but to see that everybody else is starting to see what we know we have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's dope. But someone in the chat, I think it was Chris Joseph, who said about KP. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. Uncle Perk be giving us love, but he also be talking crazy sometimes. Got to be careful with him. It's true.
Yeah, he right. He ain't wrong about that. Uncle Perk do be talking a little bit crazy, but one thing I want to say is shout out to my guy shout out to Kendrick Perkins, because Kendrick Perkins, he goes out of his way to show love to a lot of content creators that are on the up and rise. So one of my friends, and Jigga, you remember him because I had him on for the Yankees One and Brew as one of my first guests. My guy Sean Alcide, who does work designated report. If you guys follow them, they cover the NBA, WNBA as a whole. But Kendrick Perkins was one of the first guys to allow my guy to interview him and wear his merch, show 100% love, getting him at WNBA games. So Kendrick Perkins behind the scenes, he does a lot of work for content creators that are on the up and rise. So I just want to give Kendrick Perkins his flowers for that. And if you guys can, please follow designated reports, because they do put great content out when it comes to covering the NBA as a whole. But Philly Bob Thornton, what's your take on Uncle Perk before we throw it to Dylan to get his take?
So I've been saying it for months now. I want Kendrick Perkins on the Knicks Morning Brew, because that dude has been waving the Knicks flag from before it was cool. It reminds me of that scene because, in that old Billy Madison movie where he sees that his new little friend peed his pants, so he goes over to the water and he throws some water on his pants. And he turns around and he's like, it's not cool if you don't pee your pants.
No. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, do it, Billy.
It's not cool if you don't pee your pants.
There you go.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, there you go, Billy. So in a time when it wasn't cool to like the Knicks, Kendrick Perkins was saying, watch out for the Knicks. And so I give him and Monica McNutt the credit, because even now, they are calling out Stephen A. Smith and being like, yo, you can't be a bandwagon fan. There's things that are going on right now that you need to pay attention to. And so now you have even guys like JJ Redick that are like, yo, this team is impressive. Everyone thinks that now. But Perkins has been on that train. So salute to Perk. He's seen it before a lot of other people in big media did. He has his own takes, which is great. I feel like a lot of these other people, I'm like, oh, that's a great take. I saw it on so-and-so's Twitter the other day. Great job stealing. But K-Perk is K-Perk. And K-Perk does a great job coming up with his own content. And he's right, we are that team that can upset a lot of people. And I think we have to come to terms with that.
Yeah, it's a different feel than what it was 2 years ago when we were the 4th seed. It feels like a better team. It feels like a different team at the same time, even though we still have about 5 to 6, maybe 7 players left over from that time. Same head coach, but it literally feels like this team is actually better. Even though we were 4th seed last time, we are on the climb. We are steadily up the climb in the standings. I think it's 20 to 19 games left in the season. But I want to give a shout out to my man Nice Delo Mio. He said, man, I'm listening to other team podcasts and they're saying that the Knicks are a nuisance to deal with due to their physical and tough look on defense that they are playing. 100% nice. If you go around and you listen to either the Sacramento Kings podcast, or if you listen to the Indiana Pacers, which I was surprised that the Indiana Pacers, they have fans that have podcasts, which is crazy. But if you listen to other team podcasters, right, other content creators, they're saying the same thing about the New York Knicks. Yesterday, Knicks aren't today's Knicks, to quote my guy, Fat Joe. Dylan, what was your take on Uncle Perk's take on the Knicks right there real quick, brother? Go ahead, Dylan.
Right. Kendrick Perkins, he's been, what you guys have been saying, he's been giving us love, pretty much since the start of the season. He's pretty much been the only, what you said, mainstream media member that's been doing that, because usually the narrative around the Knicks is, oh, the Knicks will nick, they're not just going to do anything. They're hot right now, but they won't do anything, or, oh, the Knicks aren't going anywhere, or the Knicks are a joke. That's usually the narrative that's always been around them. But now, Kendrick Perkins has been saying all year, Brunson and Randall are a great duo. I saw he was saying Brunson and Randall are among top duos in the league, which I agree with. Right now they definitely are. and he was also, a bunch of good stuff about the Knicks, obviously. You played that video, giving lots of credit to Tom Thibodeau, which, I also agree. Tom Thibodeau's been a lot better this year than he was, a few years ago. I know Philly doesn't necessarily agree with that, but I do think he's been better. And, so I just, those are some things I definitely noticed. I definitely like what Kendrick Perkins has said about us because it makes us feel a little more legit. I know Kendrick Perkins does, I know he has some crazy takes sometimes, but, it's at the end of the day, a mainstream media still has a platform to talk about the NBA, and he's showing love to a team like the Knicks. And I think that's a good sign. To expose other people to how we're playing right now. We're a legitimate
Matrix
some
called him again.
team
Phil, what'd you do?
that
Philly? Did
won't get very
you
far. Like
you shipped Dylan your
legit.
internet?
I had to pawn it off on somebody else so that I could be here for a whole episode.
That's right.
Nah, but great take, Dylan, from what we was able to hear from you. Towards the end, it cut out just a little bit, but yeah, agree with you 100% when it comes to Uncle Perk. And sometimes he be having some takes that make you question: is Uncle Perk off of a couple of perks right now at the moment? But no, credit to Kendrick Perkins. He's killing it right now. But I want to bring up the next topic. Oh, go ahead, Jigga. You got your finger up, which means that you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's actually towards Dylan, and hopefully the internet works with us here. But Dylan, with you being a journalist, man, and the way you write your articles and the things that you've done with like the Fireside Knicks articles and stuff, is it easier for you as a journalist to write things in a season like this and put your emotions away from it okay, let me write from a side of not just being a Knicks fan, but how different is it from writing a season last year to a season like this?
Right. So, like, they're definitely a lot better to talk about now because they're actually doing good. Not rambling about how bad somebody's playing. We're talking about how good people are and how good Julius Randle has been. And, I think it's refreshing to, see, be able to talk about things like that because, the Knicks have not obviously done much in a very long time. They had the playoff appearance 2 years ago, but, I think a lot of us kind of knew that playoff appearance wasn't going to really formulate in anything. We were hoping, in the future it would mean something. And I think right now we are seeing that, which I think is a big difference. So it's a lot better to talk about because, now we actually feel like we are talking about a team that's successful. We have, and even, speaking from a Knicks fan, aside from that, just speaking from an NBA perspective, I think it's, inviting to talk about. Like, I think, even if I were just covering the league in general, I think I would be, definitely talking how the Knicks have been playing because, I've been someone who's been talking about how good the Kings have been playing. So if I was watching the Knicks on the eye, I'd be like, hey, the Knicks have been doing something. They're not bunch of channels, but great. I would be, I'd be talking about all that all the time because, I really think they've even just aside from me being a fan that they have been great and that they deserve more recognition. I definitely think they do.
Yeah, it's funny because last year, heck, and Phil, you remember, I did Knicks Nights with Jerry Ferrara and Drew Austin, and it was a tough season last year, right? So I can remember those meetings when we'd meet up before the show, and Jerry and I would be like, man, we got to do this today? Like, we really going to talk about this team for the next hour, And you'd see Jerry being there like, I live in Cleveland.
It's more exciting to talk about the Knicks now, which I think is
100%. Even it doesn't. You don't even have to look at it from the fourth seed year to now or last year to now. You can literally look at it from before December till now. Before December 13th, what you was writing and how you started writing about the Knicks for now. But I got a topic of what has changed, and I want to throw it over to Phil. So Phil can lead the conversation on this because we know Tom Thibodeau is one of his favorite coaches in the NBA. So Phil, if you can, talk about Tom Thibodeau's rotation and how it turned around the season.
Yeah. So I will say this. Earlier in the season, I was if I see this guy on the street, I'm slashing his tires. Kind of vibe. If I see this guy and he goes to the bathroom, I'm throwing something in his drink. That was my kind of love, hate, towards Tibbs. But now I still don't think he is our future. I still do not. I still do not think he is what we need moving forward. However, I will say, ever since that freaking loss against Luca and the Mavs, we have seen a new team. And a lot of that did come down to the 9-man rotation, and I still was frustrated with the 9-man rotation because I didn't feel like our players were actually being our players. But since the Josh Hart trade, I haven't seen him ruling with an iron fist on the offensive end. And you've seen Grimes be able to be more Grimes like. You've seen Quickly be Quickly. You've seen Randall play with a flexibility that you've never saw before. So I'm not saying that I give Tibbs that credit. I'm not there, but I'm also not going to say that it's not, because I don't know. And he's allowing it. Like, even if he's not the one coming up with this, he's allowing it right now. And that to me is progress. That to me is something to celebrate, that it's something that I can say thank you. Even to the point that, like I said, they were out at that event and he's on stage with all the team. Emmanuel Quickly is about to speak. Monica McNutt introduces him, and you see Tibbs up there like, like smiling like crazy. And I was just like, hey, that actually made me feel good. Seeing Tibbs smile actually made me feel good. What's going on here? Like, I have no clue. I need to check my temperature. But yeah. So if this is him, then salute, thank you. If it's not, let him go and let whoever's actually calling these shots behind the curtains be the one that takes over.
Couldn't agree more than with what you just said. And also, too, I want to shout out my man Jarvis because he said that he was in the Celtics. Hold on, wait, I'm gonna look it up right now. He said that he was in the Celtics, the CLNS Media Podcast, and this is a podcast group that's just like ours. They cover Boston sports, whether it's the Celtics, Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox. And this is how you know your team put a spanking on the opposing team. When the opposing team is making thumbnails that look like Nick thumbnails, this is how you know that you're killing the game. Look at it. This literally looks like an SNY MSG thumbnail.
Not
look
only
at it. Am I bugging out?
No, not only that, bro. If you look at their tweets from that night of the game, like, I was like, wait, it reminded me of whatever idiot we had in the Empire State Building who turned the sign or turned the building into the Eagles thing. The Celtics just like, oh, we had no answers for the Knicks tonight from their account. Like, they tweeted that every time we tried, they had an answer. I was like, first of all, you didn't try. All right, because we held that game from beginning to end. So I didn't want to hear we tried. But I love the fact that their entire fan base is now calling him Jason Tantrum. That is freaking hilarious. Like, as a content guy, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have started that hashtag. You know what I mean? Like, that is so good. But as far as Tibbs goes, guys, we can sit on the fact that we've talked about this and we give the credit where credit's due, right? I'm still on the side of our players have made Tibbs look better, okay? He had no choice, but he did have a choice when it came to, hey, I'm going to limit to 9-player rotation. That was his decision. Whether it came from the top, whatever. That's still the front office. That's still coaching. And the players themselves are the reason why we're seeing the success we're seeing. So, yes, I said it, a month ago. I'll give Tibbs credit when we're getting better at defense. Check. Our team's playing good defense. The chemistry is there. That goes to the players' credit. But you know what? He's allowing them to play. He's allowing them to find their gel. He's letting them do it. The man literally said, okay, Madison Square Garden, here's Derrick Rose, and put him in the game. The man has been on the sideline smiling. Like, it's a whole new era. It's a whole new season, people. So, yes, I will say, hey, Tibbs, if you keep doing what you're doing, bro, I'll give you your flowers are due. I rest my case. How you doing?
Look at that. Look at that man. Look at that man hiding the fact that he's bald. Look at that. That man is fighting that. He is fighting that. Tibbs, just shave it, bro. You know what I mean? Just join the dark side. Go ahead, Dylan. What's your take on Tom Thibodeau so far and the switch around that's been since the 10-13 record in the 9-man rotation? Go ahead, Dylan. The floor is yours, brother.
Right. So, like, yeah, I touched on it a little bit before, but, Tom Thibodeau has been, he's been a lot better. I got to give credit where it's due because, frankly, I was, just that crowd, honestly, that wasn't sure if Thibodeau was the guy. And I'm not going to lie, I'm still unsure, but I'm definitely encouraged by what I've seen so change. I think that rotation change was a step in the right direction because I think it, kind of served as a wake-up call maybe to Tibbs, like, okay, I need to actually make serious adjustments. I can't do what I did last year and keep running since Alec Burks at point guard last year and it didn't work. So, I think definitely now he's definitely improved in that regard, of actually making adjustments. So, and the Knicks are winning as a result. So, I mean, I got to give him credit where it's due. I mean, I'm not going to, act like it's not working because quite frankly, it is working. We're winning games and we're beating good opponents. We're not just beating up weak opponents. We're winning against good opponents. We've beaten the Celtics a handful of times. We've beaten Philly twice. We've beaten Cleveland twice. We're beating good teams in this process. So, I definitely think I got to give him his credit. It's definitely, encouraging to see. And I'm curious to see how it'll play out playoff time.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to my man Pudgy Nice. Pudgy Nice says Tibbs is a fraud. It was the players. And then Bones.
Do you think
Bones,
I'm wrong?
Bones is like, the flowers you give Tom Thibodeau, they need to be poison ivy.
Bones, you ain't right.
Oh man.
Bro,
and also
Pudge
Nice changes his profile picture almost every season, and every season it just gets more funny and funny as time goes on. Go ahead, Jigga, my fault.
I don't know if it was Ron and John's chat that I was in the other day. It may have been Uncle Freezy's. I can't remember, or maybe it was Foxy's. It was one of those three. But I put in the chat, and again, not taking away from the conversation, but am I wrong in saying the guys are winning not because of Tibbs, but in spite of Tibbs? Like, I still feel that most of the credit needs to go to our squad and what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Yes, you still want to give Tibbs credit for who he's playing and what he's doing, right? He easily could sit there and say, screw all of us and put in 48 nonstop. Yeah. And we can see all of that happening. But I don't know. I still feel like the players should be the ones getting most of the credit. Yeah. And yes, we give Tibbs a little bit of credit because we're seeing success, but I'm right there with you, Dylan. I'm not on the train yet that says, hey, I'm completely sold. Tibbs is the answer, because we know he's not. Mm-hmm. Right? So are we setting ourselves back again to where, hey, we're having this season and we're back to where, oh, look, Tibbs is going to get another 5-year extension.
No, I would never want to see Tibbs getting another 5-year extension. But to your point, I give the credit to the players, right? Shout out to my guy SK. And I highlighted SK because I wanted to say the maturation of Julius Randle, right? Julius Randle, the evolution of that man from last year, even from when he was an all-star the first time around to now, he is having a better season this season than he had before. This is the best season he's ever had in his career. I understand people want to give credit to Tom Thibodeau, but having Jalen Brunson, when you look at every spot where Julius Randle was at every season, he's never had a point guard like Jalen Brunson, right? Coming out of the all-star break, right? When you have teams, and you can point out Jalen Brunson hasn't been scoring since we've come back from the All-Star break, but that's not on Jalen Brunson. That's more on other teams queuing in on him and making him the matchup that you double team, that you triple team. It opens up the floor and it opens up the space for Julius Randle to operate and do his thing, and for RJ Barrett to do his thing. More Julius than RJ Barrett, because Julius Randle is the person that has benefited the most for having Jalen Brunson on this team. Julius Randle is able to take the pressure off of him, knowing that he doesn't have to be the leader on the court. He could just be the scorer on the court, and he could feed off of Jalen Brunson. Like I said earlier, Batman and Robin, I don't think you can say they're Batman and Robin. No, you're going to have to say one is Batman, one is Superman. One is the Green Lantern, one is Aquaman. There's not a second tier to that person. Right, it's not Batman and Robin. Both of them are both playing at a high level, and you need to show that. Julius Randle, he has rewritten his storybook with the New York Knicks, and then that showed. Look at where we are at right now compared to last year. Even when we were the 4th seed, we went on a 10-game winning streak. That's the only reason we became the 4th seed, is because we went on a 10-game winning streak towards the end of the season. We are at a better place right now with 19 games left to go. We're going to finish off with a better record than we did when we were the 4th seed. Let's just see what happens down the stretch.
Yeah, and to the point, like, I'm reading right here, maybe Tibbs deserves the credit because he is doing things his way despite the front office, and they brought Josh Hart, and he's a Tibbs player. I still don't trust playoff Tibbs. And here's the thing. That's all speculation. We can't really say who's calling those shots. If it is Tibbs, then for sure, let's give him credit. One thing I will say is that regardless of what we think, the players are still adapting well to the situation. Whether they love or hate Tibbs, we have no clue, but they are producing regardless. And what's great is that you see that they're able to kind of pick each other up, because even if Tibbs is doing a great job from the sideline, let's say he is, okay? If a player like Jalen Brunson, who we have banked on, comes in and has one of the 2 of 3 last games that he's had, and yet the team isn't doing what the team is doing and picking up that slack and figuring out how to still be effective and powerful, then it doesn't matter how good Tibbs might be throwing things out from the sidelines. Same with RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett has had pretty poor games twice in the last 3 games. However, we have not seen it because you have players like Quick and Hart that are coming off the bench and making up for what we did not have in our starting lineup. Like we're seeing people pick up the pieces. So if Tibbs is doing a good job, awesome. Good job, Tibbs. Woo! But to me, I know I can actually see that the players are doing their job, and so I got to give them credit because I'm watching them constantly take it up a notch and push themselves to more.
I want to say real quick, we're giving all these shout outs to the team and the players and debating Tibbs, but shout out to our boy Blood the Panther, the
Facts.
moderator for
Facts.
days. Blood, I love you, bro.
Facts.
Appreciate everything you're doing in that. Like that right there, you don't have to question it. All right. He gets an extension, he gets a contract, he and the front office all gelling together. The team is happy. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'd rather give a contract extension to Blood of the Panther than Tom Thibodeau at this point. For the work that Blood is doing. Listen, Blood, keep this up, bro. I guarantee you're gonna be on the payroll sooner or later. But shout out to Shy Legacy who just checked in. My man Shy Legacy, like he said, do we blame our players for not elevating their game in the off season, or is that Tibbs' fault? That's 100% facts. So when the team is playing good, you got to give the credit to the players. And I know we got Mitchell Robinson queued up for the next conversation, but I want to skip that because this is feel good when it comes to Julius Randle. I want to get this take. I want to play this. So you want to play it, Jiggy Man?
With this one?
We're going with this one.
Dylan, you ready, bro? We got a topic. All right.
We're gonna throw it to Dylan right after the video plays to get Dylan's take on this. But
on Julius Randle
right here.
Like him.
So do I.
He's had a better career with the Knicks than Carmelo Anthony.
Thank you.
It's just a fact. I'm sorry. I
better
apologize.
defender, better rebounder, higher field goal percentage, better teammate.
The numbers don't lie.
Yeah. But New York's just in love with Carmelo Anthony.
No comment.
Yeah. Randall's an interesting player.
I like him.
But he was never a superstar out of college. He was never anointed, and therefore
he was a bit of a tweener.
He's
right?
always been like a 2.5, but he's a good player.
Dylan, what's your take on the Herd having the conversation with Julius Randle, Carmelo Anthony? Do you feel in this 3 seasons or 4 seasons, however you want to be, that Julius Randle has been here, he's had a better career with the Knicks than Melo? What's your take on that?
So do I.
He's had a better career with the Knicks than
I don't think he's had a necessarily better career than Melo, but I don't. Sorry, it was like cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think he necessarily has had because Melo title, he won All-Star appearances, he did a bunch of stuff for the Knicks, so I don't think Randle is necessarily a better career. Randle is one of the better Knicks of recent, already entering the conversation for one of the better Knicks. He's an All-NBA appearance. He has 2 All. Randle, he's been great. Additions Carmelo Anthony is a little premature. I think that's a little premature to do that. So, me personally, I would not say that he's had a better career than Melo, but I understand that the timing to bring it up because Randle is having an amazing season and, quite frankly, probably the best season by a Knick since Melo's scoring title season. But I think it's premature to really say that he's had the better career. Melo was he was on a different level, I think. So
yeah, and like
Pamela
just
Melo
said,
led to more playoff success too because we did have a big season. We did have a big season with Melo. We had like a 54-win season. We won a playoff series. So I think if Randall can do more in the playoffs, then that'll strengthen an argument for him. But right now, I think it's a little premature to be saying that Randall is necessarily the better Nick than Melo.
Yeah, and like Pamela said in the chat, this season alone, Julius Randle has had a better supporting cast than Carmelo Anthony ever did. Right, Carmelo Anthony never played with a player that's playing on an all-star level like
1000%.
Jalen Brunson. Right, we could both say he's never played with he didn't play with a player like Jalen Brunson while he was here with the Knicks. Right, that 54 season, the best team that the Knicks put around Carmelo Anthony was a team full of veterans that were right next to the AARP Hangout Club, right? So that's the best supporting cast that Carmelo Anthony had over here with the Knicks. He had a young rookie, Kristaps Porzingis, who was injured and a rookie. J.R. Smith won Sixth Man of the Year, but he never had a player like a Jalen Brunson playing on the same level as Jalen Brunson is playing. Now, if you want to say from a team perspective, right, when it comes to teams wins, probably a 3-year stretch, these 3 years with Tom Thibodeau were kind of better, or whatever you could say that. But at the same time, I would never say or fix my lips to say that Julius Randle has had a better career than Carmelo Anthony. That's blasphemous to say. Like you said, it's a bit premature. Like you said, now, were there more expectations for Carmelo Anthony? 100%, way more expectations for Carmelo Anthony than the expectations for Julius Randle, especially with the Knicks, right? So I can put that aside and say those two things, that Carmelo Anthony, he had way more expectations of him as a superstar. Requesting a trade out of Denver and wanting to come to the Knicks, more pressure was on Julius Randle. More team success, it has to be within these last season, and it's not just Julius Randle, it's the team that was put around him. Right, 2 playoff appearances. You could say not gonna win, nothing bad happens, but 2 playoff appearances. Julius Randle, he had Alfred Payton and Alex Burke as his point guards for the first 2 years before Jalen Brunson has come around. And look at the Jalen Brunson effect; it's working. Look at Emmanuel Quickly. When you look at Emmanuel Quickly, you could tell that he has learned from Jalen Brunson. Being that vocal player on the coach or on the floor on the defensive side of things, calling things out, letting people know your assignments here, letting people know the screen's coming. That's what Emmanuel Quickly has done, and it's come from being around Jalen Brunson. And you can actually see Jalen Brunson and Emmanuel Quickly are starting to turn into extensions of Tom Thibodeau on the court, and that's all you ask from your lead guards. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, this is one of those things that kind of just makes you chuckle. This is clickbait. This is clickbait, at its finest. If you look at it, Julius Randle had a good bubble season, had an absolutely horrendous bubble playoff. Then he had a mediocre last season where everything kind of hit the fan. And now he's having an incredible season, which you have to tip your hat off to him. But he's also having an incredible season at a time where we're saying that not only do we have a great supporting lineup in his starting lineup, we're also saying we probably have the best bench in the NBA right now. And so you have not just a supporting cast in your starting lineup, but you have a cast that is killing it, when they come in to sub you out. So it looks a lot better as well, And so if you look at Melo's career, their numbers are very similar, but Melo had 7 seasons and none of them were absolute flops. Melo at least was able to show up in, I think they won 7 games in his playoff time with the Knicks. Until we see what Randle can do in the playoffs and then see what he does next year, because based off the playoffs, everyone was able to say, bubble Randle season was a fluke. Then he had that season last year that everyone was like, yep, definitely a fluke. Then he came back this year and was like, no, it's not a fluke. I'm him. Okay, show me that in the playoffs. And then if you can do that, come back next year and don't show me that you're last year's Randle again. Consistency is going to be key, because regardless of the fact that Melo's supporting cast was not great, his consistency for us as a Knick was there. He continued to put up, even though it was awkward lineups, even though the coaching staff wasn't the greatest, even though the chemistry and the vibes in New York were not at their peak, Melo was still Melo. So props to Randle. He's been incredible this season. But if I can see this for another 2-3 seasons, let's have that conversation. But right now, I think it's just jumping on the train of something that looks good right now.
Yeah, 100%
So
agree, bro.
I'll say this. One, I'm a Colin Cowherd fan. Okay. This is what Colin Cowherd does. Okay. He's the type that will put a topic out early that's going to get you talking. So, congratulations to the herd because it works, right? We're here playing the video. We're here talking about it. Listen, obviously, as Knicks fans, there's no point of us, to me, having the Melo Julius Randle conversation. There's not. Okay. Julius Randle, I'll say this, my guy, you have the chance to prove. So, like Dylan said, it's premature. Yes, please make it that this conversation is a conversation we really should have in the future, not right now because it doesn't match up. Okay, you're not gonna have me talking Julius Melo same page. It's not. But I will say, I would love to understand if we want to have such a debate about it. Go sign Melo. Let's have the conversation when Melo and Randle play together. You know what I'm saying? Like, why we got to choose between both of them? Okay. No, I don't think the conversation's worth having yet. Okay. I am ecstatic with what we're getting from Randle. And hey, Randle, you've got the chance, bro, to make this a conversation worth having. Make it happen. Make it a combo. Go out there, show us what you can do in the playoffs. But I will say that in the chat, there was one I saw that really got me. Where is it? It was talking about, here we go. E. Gibson. I am not putting our playoffs failure or success all on Randle or Tibbs. Our expectations have also been raised quickly. Winning a series to me would be great. That is what I want to talk about. Heck, because
go ahead.
We've had this conversation, you, me, and Phil before, right? And our tweets and our conversations.
I'm sipping the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, we can't put it all on these people. And here we go again with the, that's it. We need so much more. Like everybody's already like, oh, we need to get past the first round. Oh, we need to do this to call it success. Am I crazy? Are we not in the middle of success right now? Is this not what success looks like? I'm sorry. I'm not going to cry if we get knocked out. I mean, I will, just not on camera, if we get knocked out in the first round. But can we really sit here and call it a failure if we don't get past first round? Come on.
No, bro. I and Phil brought up a point. I'll throw it to Dylan right afterwards before we get into the next topic. Phil brought up a point about the fourth seed, coming back off of the bubble. And my issue was Pastor Claudio's in the building. Pastor Claudio, hope all is well, my guys. Salute, salute, salute. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Hit those like buttons if you can. My issue, not an issue, but I like to point out the fact that when we were the fourth seed and we had that first game in the playoffs in the first round against the Hawks at the Garden, that was the first time that entire season that the Garden was able to be sold out at full capacity. That was the first time that entire season that the Garden had that many people and that type of energy. I honestly feel that those players that played, Reggie Bullock, that's why he was so shaky, Alfred Payne, I honestly feel that those players didn't recover, and it was a shock to see those many fans and having the Garden that loud. I think it was a shock. It was a shock to them, and it made them nervous going out there to play. I feel that if it was reversed, if the Knicks were the road team and the first game was in Atlanta, right? The Garden was full. Nice. The Garden was full at that. The first game of that playoffs was the first time the Garden was full for that entire season. But I honestly feel that if the Knicks were the road team and the first game was in Atlanta, I honestly feel what would have happened at the end would have been totally different. I honestly feel the results would have been different because the Knicks would have probably fed off of the hate from the Atlanta fans and would have brought that back to the Garden and fed off of the fans from the Garden. Automatically hearing all of those fans is going to scare you, especially if you haven't seen it that entire season, right? So hopefully this playoffs, this time around, those players are ready for that. RJ Barrett is ready for that. Julius Randle is ready for that. But Dylan, I'm gonna throw it over to you when it comes to the playoffs perspectives. Hold on one second because I just saw something that I wanted to bring up. Never mind. But go ahead, Dylan.
Right. So, you were mentioning, it's like success right now. It does feel like success right now. And, I think come playoff time, we haven't had a lot of playoff success really at all in the past couple decades. So I definitely think, if we can have something going this year, even if we make it past I think making it past because, that already by every expectation right away. Making the Eastern Conference Final would be an upset, but I'm not going to rule it out because they were rolling right now, clicking. It can definitely happen. With terms, I'm just hoping for a successful postseason, really. I'm not expecting to win the finals. I don't think anybody is picking us to win the finals at all. But, I think people need to realize it's a bit of a process when it comes to things like that. We're not, we weren't projected to be a finals team this year. And quite frankly, we're still not projected to be a finals team. So, it's a bit of a process. I think Jalen Brunson was the start of that process, though, because it makes us look a little more attractable now that we have, legit pieces around. Making the playoffs is another big step because then other stars will be like, ooh, they have something going. I want to go join them because I can make them, 10 times better. So, I definitely think I think winning a playoff series is a huge step. If they can manage to do that, which I think is very possible, I do. With on how I think match up against such as like Cleveland and Philly, I think that's a possibility. So I really, really think those will be steps going forward.
Yeah. Jigga, I want to throw this out there. I'll throw it over to Phil. But Phil, when it comes to Josh Hart and the updates on Josh Hart, when it comes to number three on the court, number one in our heart, what do you take what's your thoughts on this whole Josh Hart experience? Him being with the Knicks, bro. You're muted, Phil. You're muted. You're muted.
I think it goes hand in hand, with what we're talking about with playoffs. Like I think that he was such a good move for us that it wouldn't be a complete failure of a season if we don't make it past the first round of the playoffs, but it would be a huge disappointment because we're looking at this piece. We're looking at this piece as the guy who might not make us finals ready, but he's that second piece that we talked about in needing to move forward. So I think a lot of fans are like, if we go out in the first round, like, what does that say? With us going after Brunson in the offseason and going after Josh Hart, like if we don't make it past what we already did in the bubble, like it's a failure. I don't think it's a failure. I think it is a disappointment, though, because especially it's also going to really rely on how far Cleveland goes. Because if we're seeing it and we go, okay, Jalen Brunson was the right move and Josh Hart was the right move. Look, we're able to surpass Cleveland when everyone was talking about how we made a huge mistake in not going after Donovan Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell is able to take Cleveland further than we are, then it's did we make the right move or not? So I don't think it's a failure, but I personally think for me to really go, okay, this was a success, would be us getting past the first round of the playoffs. Because like Dylan said, this is something that getting past the first round of the playoffs will help attract the star that we want, and maybe not even the superstar anymore, because if we show up in the playoffs and we look incredible, then we don't need to bank rob ourselves in any way, shape, or form for like a superstar, but we could still go get another amazing piece that makes us that much more uncontrollable, as a franchise. So I don't think that necessarily happens so much if we get like dog walked in the first round. I think making it to that second round and showing that we can even compete with those in the second round will make us look like the appealing team we all believe that we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% agree. And we definitely have to win that first round because there's still that one little small faction of Knicks fans that just want to blow up this team. That they don't feel Julius Randle's the right fit. They don't feel RJ Barrett's the right fit. And they're just waiting for the other shoe to drop so they could talk their ish. But I'm not here for it. Like I said earlier, I am sipping the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid is being sipped. We are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, I'm done. Dylan, your take. Go ahead, brother.
Right. So, while we're on the topic of Josh Hart, I think, personally, I'm just kind of pivoting here on this, but I think 6-0 with Hart is no coincidence. To be honest, I think he was the perfect fit. So therefore, making a move like that for a seamless fit makes you kind of it makes it more significant to get this first round, like you were saying. So, I think, you make a move like that, pretty much provide you anything you need. He's a bit of a jack of all trades guy. He gives you, he can rebound, he paces the floor well, he can, all that good stuff. I think making moves like that and pairing him with, your stars, with Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, who Hart's already played with both of them at points in his career. He played with Brunson at Villanova. He played with Randle in LA. So he has that already, and he's a Tibbs type player. So making moves like that definitely makes it more significant. And I think, too, the fact that we are 6-0 with him right now at this start also, kind of makes it like, now you need to be able to win a play, because now it's like you're winning all these games after making the move. So now, I think I'm hoping they can do that. I think it really depends on who they end up playing in the first round, if they, when they get there. But I do like our chances. I like how we match up. That part provides. I think his role off the bench is a great role, because he can kill second units on teams, and also it just makes our team deeper. So yeah, I definitely think moving forward we need to be able to see what they can do in the playoffs with this team, because right now we're at full strength. With this stretch we have coming up, we have Brooklyn, and then we have Miami, then we have another game against Boston. This is the best stretch right now to see how this team would perform in the playoffs. It's got to a great start because we beat Boston, but I want to see more of that, and I'm hoping we can see more of that as this week goes on, and as the season ends up.
Yeah. Shout out to JJ in the chat. I didn't see my guy JJ, but JJ was in the chat. JJ, salute. Sometimes I get confused when I'm looking at the chat with my right eye, because I got JJ right here, and then I got Jonathan right there. So sometimes I be confusing JJ and Jonathan. So yeah, shout out to my guy JJ. My fault for that, JJ, if I didn't acknowledge you earlier. But go ahead, Jigga. Give us your take on this Josh Hart thing.
I mean, honestly, the whole articles and then the interviews, I mean, he had a lot to say this week, and I love it, right? But my favorite part was drop the narrative, change it, let go of the, since the trade deadline. Let it go. And I love that part, because as content creators, why do people feel you can't change your mind? You can be upset and then be happy later. Listen, I love my kids all the time. I don't have to like them every day. All right. Sometimes they're just little douchies. All right.
You're supposed to like your kids. What are you talking about?
Oh, snap. All right. Go back and snip and delete. Hey, Blood the Panther. Moderator, can we cut that little piece out? I need my kids to still like me. All right. But listen, we all are excited with what Josh Hart brings. The team overall is just performing so great. It's okay to change your takes, people. It really is. But my favorite part of what he said is he feels that him and the team has so much confidence thinking ahead into the playoffs, right? That's good to hear, to know that your team is all gelling together and having that chemistry. Because, guys, we talked about it on Monday, right? I mean, it was just a couple of weeks ago that you guys remember the post-game interviews. Players were, don't ask me, ask the coach. People weren't happy. You can see there was issues. You weren't getting the high fives and the smiles. And now that we have that, Josh Hart plays a major part of that. And whoever wrote the heartbreak connection, I love that. We need that's one of those ones you sent to recap. And you'd be like, yo, recap, I need you to turn Josh Hart. Oh, man, so good. But, man, I'm excited. And I think it's no question he's brought a lot of heart to the team. He actually helped fix the other heart problem we had, okay? Because even iHeart is playing fantastic. So, listen, it's okay to be happy. It's okay to let Hector go nuts and say, we're going to win it all, Eastern Conference. Go nuts. Talk that shit, Hector. Just tell everybody. I'm sorry. I get too excited. We're winning, okay?
Hector's already, in his basement putting merch. 2020
as a fact.
2023 champions.
As a fact. You guys ever seen those videos with people in third world countries that got the opposite team winning the championship? It's because they make the merchandise, and when the other team lose, they send that to random countries so people don't got to see it no more. But I got to point something out. Someone in the chat pointed out MSG Network, and this is off topic real quick, but MSG, they're looking to start the MSG Plus app. I think JJ and Blood of the Panther was talking about it in the chat. There is going to be $10 a month per team. So if you want to watch the Knicks, you got to pay $10 a month. If you want to watch the Rangers, you got to pay $10 a month. And if you want to watch the WNBA, you got to pay $10 a month. Listen, stop trying to milk us for money. We're going to pay no matter what, but just stop trying to milk us for money. We already play, and I think they're doing this because they're trying to get people to get off of their cable subscriber. So instead of paying $150 to $180 a month for your cable, you're just paying $30 a month for the MSG app. I'm not spending $30 a month for the MSG app. I'm still going to watch my games.
Okay, hold on. Yes, but let me correct you there, Heck. Okay, because I like to look at the future. So hey, MSG. As of right now, we will not pay that $10 a month. Facts. Now, if you happen to sign the Knicks Morning Brew to be on MSG, we are telling everybody to pay $10 a month. Okay, all right.
This is Jigga. This is why you're the one who emails people for sponsorships, and I don't. Like, this is why you handle that, and I handle what I handle. But no, I honestly, when it comes to the Josh Hart situation, I'm in love with Josh Hart. Like you guys said, like he said, let the narrative rest or whatever. When it comes to Josh Hart, extend that man, do whatever you got to do, because he is the difference maker. He does the things that you do not see in the box score. When it comes to the hockey assists, when it comes to the box out, when it comes to the hustle and the grind, he does all that stuff. And like I said earlier, if Tom Thibodeau went to Finster and asked him to make him a specific player, it would be Josh Hart. Josh Hart will be that player that Tom Thibodeau molded in an evil layer. But Dylan, what's your take on Josh Hart? And if you're in the Knicks front office, what's your extension you're giving Josh Hart, bro?
Right. So, I definitely think they need to extend Hart. And, I don't think, they're not going to give him put who's going to that. But, I think to give him, a more deal. I do think that, because I think he's a valuable piece moving forward. I do think, whether they have him come off the bench or whether he were to start, I think he's still very valuable in any role. So I think, giving him a multi-year definitely beneficial. They can give him, I don't know exact parameters, but, they definitely should, they got to, I think already he's important. Even 6 game sample size, I know it's a small sample size, but I feel like we've already seen plenty more than I think. So I definitely think, they need to definitely going forward.
Yeah, what I love about that is Dylan, Hart has came in and left no room for any narratives, right? Like everybody's like, oh, is this trade gonna work out? Is he gonna get minutes? Like, we did nothing. Is this even worth it? And everybody was looking for that little glimmer of hope. Well, okay, maybe the connection with Jalen will be good. The man has put that to rest. All right, let it go, people. Like, Josh Hart is a part of this team. He's a dog. Everybody's gelling. Like, you cannot. If there's a single person right now that's like, oh, I don't know if we should re-sign Hart. Are you watching the games? Like, the man deserves to be re-signed. He literally is. Since he came here, the chemistry has just gotten so much better. But before we move on to a lot of stuff, this topic I want to bring on while Dylan's here too, and I want to ask you guys because. We mentioned it's my birthday. I was going to spend a little bit of money today. I'm torn, though. And I'm going to drop the question in the chat, too. Who on this roster, whose jersey are you buying? Please convince me on what jersey I am investing in today, okay? I am wanting to buy a Knicks jersey for my birthday. Who am I getting and why? Chat,
I got one.
Go ahead.
If you want, you can you could Venmo or you can Zelle Phil some money for that Courtney Lee jersey he has in his closet.
Bring back Lee. Bring him back.
Well, all right. So Hector's answer doesn't count. So for real, Heck, what jersey? If you're spending
Brunson,
money,
bro.
my money.
If I'm spending your money. Oh, man, it's a toss-up between Randall and Brunson, but I got to go with Brunson. I love what Randall has done this year, but if I have to buy one, I got to buy the guy who's closer to my height, and that's Jalen Brunson. So Shorty Crew is in the building. I got to buy me the Jalen Brunson jersey.
All right.
Oh, I already got 3 of those, bro. I got 3 of those. I'll rock them with pride still. For me, I would say I already own a Brunson jersey, but this is about you. So I would say IQ or Brunson. I I want a Hart jersey. I didn't think they already had a Hart jersey yet. Did you just have it custom made? Nice. Let me know.
No. Nice is saying that one's on the
That's
way.
the
He's going to
order.
get that.
Yep.
He's going to get that. He's going to get it soon whenever it's available.
Okay. But I would probably say out of the ones that are there, I would probably, which is the one player I don't have that I want, it would be Quickly.
Yo, DSJ said Alonzo Trier. And guys, also, deep down, we got to start a GoFundMe because Nice really wants a RJ Barrett jersey. I know Nice, he's a big fan of RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is his favorite Knick. My fault.
Why are you messing with Nice, man?
Dylan, if it was up to you, what jersey would you get by? Who are you copping and who are you rocking?
Definitely Jalen Brunson. What's wrong with Jalen Brunson? I mean, phenomenal this year. You got to get Jalen Brunson's jersey. I have Randall jerseys, but you got to get Jalen Brunson's jersey. I want one myself, but I would get Jalen Brunson.
Man, everybody, you see, look, I had a feeling this conversation was not going to help me, all right? Because I literally, Phil, you know how I am. Every jersey I buy ends up being a player that gets traded away or injured and left, right? Like my Jets collection is the collection of caca, okay? My Knicks collection is the collection of, do you shop blindly, sir? Like, do you just buy jerseys just to buy them because they have no value? I'm leaning Randall, guys. Listen, I said it. Did you hear me?
All right.
I'm leaning Randall. Okay? I have no problem sitting here. I went from get rid of this man. If I don't see his mentals right, if I don't see a smile, guys, that was episode 1, 2, and 3. I went back to look when I said if this man does not give us what we need, if we're not seeing team chemistry, that I would not be on the Randall train. I think the man has proven that I should go spend some Julius Randle money today.
Yeah, my man Nice
jersey, bro.
He said Dylan is getting the best jersey, Alfred Payton. No, bro, the best jersey would be either the Frank Ntilikina or the Kevin Knox jersey. Those are probably two best jerseys that you can get. But no, all jokes aside, if I'm going to cop me my Knicks jersey within the next week or whatever, it will be a Jalen Brunson jersey. I will be getting the Julius Randle warm-up t-shirt. So, I'll have the warm-up t-shirt, but it will be the Jalen Brunson jersey. But fellas, we got a game. We got a game tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. Let's give our takes real quick. So let's give our unders and overs. And I'm going to start off with our guest, Dylan Becker, right? Because against the Nets tonight, Dylan, who do you think is going to win? And what's your predictions for the scores, brother? Go ahead. And if you have any insight for any betting odds out there, any betting alpha, help the people out with the betting alpha. You see, Jigga, I'm learning the terms of the industry.
Right. So, to this one, they just played, and, it was a close game throughout, but they ended up dominating them in the fourth quarter. And also, Brooklyn has been strong lately. They've lost their last. They just suffered 2 bad loss stretches by like almost 50 to the Bulls, and then they blew a double-digit lead and lost by double figures to the Bucks last night. So, and I like the Knicks' chances in this. I think the Nets are still trying to adapt to their life without KD and Kyrie. I think they're still trying to figure out what they got here with the roster they have. And, Knicks are rolling right now with them. I think the Knicks have a great chance at this. I think they can win double figures again. I definitely think. I won't definitively say if they will because I actually don't know in a close game because sometimes just get cold, and I like the Nets a lot. So, and I think the key will be keeping Dinwiddie from getting hot because he got hot against us and he killed us for like 28. And don't let Bridges get hot either because those two guys can light it up and they can do something. I don't necessarily create difference makers because we know they're not there, but we have to, and even if it's for just one game, hurt us. I think they're able to stop those guys. Having a big game from like Brunson and Randall will also be.
Yeah. I can't argue that. I mean, we said last time we played the Nets, right? We can't just think that we're going to roll over them, right? They still have decent pieces, but they're a mess, right? So I don't go into these games like we were at the beginning of the season, like, oh, man, I don't know. I'm kind of worried. It all depends on how. No, I feel like we can keep rolling. I'm sorry, 7-0. I am ready that Friday morning. I'm able to pull up the count again and start the count back because Phil loves when the count comes out to play and we go 7 wins in a row. So yes, we take it. I think we smash the Nets tonight. I really do.
Word. 100%.
Go ahead,
I'm
Philly Phil.
Same boat. Go ahead, Philly Phil.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's going to be probably like a 96, 98 to like 112, 114 in favor of the Knicks. As good as some of those guys are, this team just pretty much is like a game of Scrabble, like a whole bunch of letters that have just been thrown onto the same board from a big old bunch of letters. So there's no chemistry yet there. They're still trying to figure out how that works, which is our like strong suit right now, is that we have been gelling. We have found that chemistry. Mitch is back. Hart came in, but it didn't disrupt the chemistry. It actually just boosted it even further. So I think as long as we show the kind of defense that we showed last night and we're able to stop the perimeter, I don't think many people are going to test the paint for us when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. And I think our team walks away with it. As long as one of the guys goes off, whether it's Brunson, Randall, or IQ, or RJ, if he shows up, if one of those guys go off and then our defense is locked down, then I don't see them having a chance, to be honest.
Heck, before I throw it over your way, real quick, shout out to our boy Trippy and the VSN basketball station in the chat. Listen, shout out, Trippy, you VSN boys, like the crew is growing. They're doing all kinds of stuff. Excited, 1:00 today. For those of you that don't know, is that today, the battle? Or is that
yeah,
it's today,
yeah, at 1 p.m.
They're doing the battle of the sexes, bringing the women into the culture. They now have the therapy and sport, the ladies, like just check out what they're doing. Amazing stuff over there. Shout out to Andrew Hernandez in the chat. What up? Heck, everybody's saying that we should beat these Nets tonight, bro, but a lot of the numbers I'm seeing in the chat show it over 110 points from the Nets. Doesn't that hurt us? Isn't our stats, if we hold teams under 110 points?
Oh no, it was the other way around that you're reading it in the chat. But the reason why it looks like that because they're putting the Nets score first and then the Knicks score. But we definitely got to hold them. No, they're not an idiot. I love you, bro. You just visually impaired like we all are. I wear glasses. That's why you see me like this. But no, when it comes to this game tonight, bro, I feel the Knicks. Just to let everybody know, I'm putting you on the spot. Jigga Man has no lenses in his glasses. They're just the frames on his face. Just to let people know he actually can see regularly. He just.
Oh, snap! You mean he?
Exactly. But no, when it comes to this game tonight, as long as we play our game, we know our game is defense first, offensive second. Like Trippy, like Dylan and Phil brought up, when it comes to Mikal Bridges, do not let him go off on us. Focus on Mikal Bridges, because Mikal Bridges, we all know he's trying to audition for the Knicks. He wants to be a Knicks so bad. He wants to play with his Villanova boys, right? So, auditions, you can have his audition, but just don't let him go off. And I've never been more excited for a game than I am tonight against the Brooklyn Nets, right? Because they may have the season series, if I'm not mistaken, or this is the 4th game we played against them, and if we win tonight, we tie the season series, so that works out great for the tiebreaker. If we are tied with them for a playoff seed, it will go off of the points over and under who scored the most points. So this is 100% a must-win game tonight. 100% this is a must-win game tonight. We have to get that season series to tie it up 2-2 against the Nets. That way, if it is a tiebreaker, we go to who scored more points during the season, right? So, yes, this has to be a game that we win tonight. And please, RJ Barrett, for the love of nice, all right? So Nice doesn't get upset. Please, RJ, can you not shoot tour dates? We don't want to see tour dates from RJ Barrett. We want to see good field goal percentages from RJ Barrett. We don't want to see 4 for 14 like you're going to go with January, March, April 14th that you got to show. I had to count it out real quick, right? April 14th, you got to show. We don't want to see that, bro. Be efficient from the field. Limit your turnovers and understand, RJ Barrett, when you're out there with the second unit, you are the man who runs the show, and just go out there and get your extra points. And please, can you make Nice happy, RJ? I'm tired of being in these group chats with Nice, and the first thing Nice says after 3 minutes is we got to get rid of RJ Barrett. I swear to God, the amount of text message I have from Nice in this group chat is ridiculous. Shout out my guy Nice. I love him.
Everybody says good morning, and Nice says trade Randall or
trade RJ. Trade RJ. RJ's trash.
Good morning, guys. RJ's doo-doo. Like, all right, good morning, Nice. It's the not so nice towards RJ. It's beautiful. Appreciate you, VSN and Tribune, guys. Thanks, appreciate that. Did you see DSJ? He put in there the only Knicks jersey Hector buys are the Hispanic players.
That's a fact. Ronaldo, Balkman, Pablo Prigioni, Willie, Herney Gomez, and Jose Calderon. But honestly, DSJ, the only person that I would is Balkman. The other three is Spaniards. I don't, you know what I mean? Whatever. But yeah.
Those Spaniards. Guys, man, I'm excited. You know, today should be a nice, you know, it feels good. Like even watching the Celtics, how many times did you guys sit there and realize, man, I'm having conversations with Phil and Smitty and Eddie. I was talking to all the guys at times like, oh, wait, I'm not paying attention to the game because we were smacking them so hard. So I'm hoping we get a lot of that tonight again, right? I love the relax, enjoy the drink, enjoy everybody's company, and just win. Just win. I want to see a win. Shout out, guys, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. We are premiering it. It's finally here. Tomorrow, 10 p.m. Check it out. Why so yeah, shout out to Schmitty and Eddie. Tomorrow, the premiere of the show, the Schmitty and Eddie show. Why you pop that up, right? That's smacking me, man.
Because I want to see your face backstage. The people can't see it. I want to see your face laugh. But no, Dylan, brother, appreciate you taking time out this morning to come kick it with us crazy boys over here at the Morning Brew Sports. Dylan, just so you know, it is an open door policy, brother. Whenever you want to come back, just know it's an open door policy. If you have any shows or any content that you want to promote, just know over here at the Morning Brew Sports, you have a place to come and promote whatever you're working on, brother. Whether it be Nick related, Yankee related, whatever you're doing, brother, just know that you can come over here and promote it. And Dylan, we are definitely going to link up to get some Yankee content. So I'll message you after the show so we can line that up, bro.
Yes. Awesome.
Dylan,
thank you guys for having me come on. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun talking about the Knicks.
Any last words for the people before you dip out?
No, other than, if you want to, hear more of me or whatever, just follow me on Twitter. Just type in my name on Twitter. You can also see me on podcast, Fireside Knicks. I do them with Ryan Garcia, who's awesome. You can also see my articles on Empire Sports Media. You can just type in my name, in Google and type in Dylan Backer Empire Sports Media. My article should come up. I write about the Knicks almost every single day. I've also covered the Yankees and the Giants as well. So if you're into that as well, I'll be having a lot more of that when Yankee season starts. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys.
And Dylan, please, if you can put the battery in your boy Ryan Garcia's back, right? Tell him to come on to the Knicks Morning Brew, the Yankees Morning Brew, because I want to have a convo with my man Ryan. I've been following Ryan over the past few years, and he's done a lot of good work covering whether it be the Yankees or the Knicks on Twitter. On Twitter, he is a voice of reason on Twitter. So shout out to my guy Ryan. Shout out to you guys over at Fireside Knicks and Fireside Yankees, because you guys are killing it out there. Just keep on with the consistent work, bro. Just keep it on, because you guys definitely have something good brewing over there with the Fireside
Ryan's
boys.
Man.
Yeah, Ryan, he definitely is. Dylan, again,
thank you so
appreciate
much,
you,
bro.
bro.
We appreciate
Thank
you.
brother.
You guys
Appreciate
too. So,
Thanks, homie.
Later, brother.
Dylan, a part of the Brew Crew. Man, Great combo, Phil's internet got better. It looked like he purposely was trying to, rug Dylan a little bit when Dylan's takes were coming through. Phil said
he was sending all of his he was sending all of his cookies to Dylan. That's what it was. All of his cookies and all of his junk was all going to Dylan's stream. That's exactly what it was.
Guys, man, I'm excited. Looking forward to tonight's game. For those of you that always tune in, appreciate you guys so much. Continue to lock in with the KOD media. Tonight's schedule is bananas. Go check it out. We got our UFC Fight Night boys. We got the return of the night shift with me and Dr. DeCatrio. We got next game watch alongs. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot. To the chat, everybody in there, appreciate you. E. Gibson, Jarvis, Bones, Blood, Nice, Trippy, TC, everybody, keep going. All right, I'm tired.
All right. Well, shout out to Sunil as well, who is in the chat, who be dropping them gems. Shout out to Blood of the Panther for always holding things down. I swear to God, man has to be on the payroll. Infamous New King was in the building. Shout out to my man, Infamous New King. Like we said earlier, VSN boys, the VSN basketball station was in the building. Make sure you guys go follow them because Phil, the fabulous Phil, will be on their channel later on today in a few minutes at 1 p.m. Philip, any last words that you want to say to the people before we dip out, Philip?
No, I'm looking forward to it. One thing that makes me happy is there are Knicks fans that jumped off the Knicks train to jump on the Brooklyn bandwagon. How's that feel now, guys? How's that feel now? Like,
oh yeah,
all three of your superstars are gone. Ben Simmons is actually getting put to rest for the rest of the season. We're different. The Knicks are doing things right, and I'm happy to be a fan. I'm looking forward to tonight. Hit us up, follow us on Twitter if you're not. Like, subscribe, tag some friends, let them know to come join us, hang out. And until next time, we appreciate you guys. See you Friday.
Jonathan, we can never forget about you, Jonathan. Jonathan's like, me, question mark? Are you kidding me, Jonathan? Shout out to Jonathan and shout out to my man, JJ, who I'm often confusing them for.
We were about to end the show, and I just want to point out, hey, Bones, I did see the tape. I saw you put in there. I should be looking at Walt's. I should be looking at his jersey. And I agree with you. I ended that conversation like, ooh, I'm going to walk away with a Randall. Then I saw your comment. I'm like, back to the drum board. Now I don't know what the heck to do.
Shout out to man Bones from the South Bronx. Salute. Hope all is well. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. But like always, this has been another fabulous episode of the Next Morning Brew. Peace, salutation, and Tom Thibodeau. Phil loves you from deep down his heart. We out. Peace.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then I go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then I go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then I go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then I go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been better. Gotta keep on sugar, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed heavy, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it an FT.